Steve, out of all the chaos on Saturday night, it actually turned out to be quite a good show.
Yeah, you know, behind the scenes people don't see it, do they? But yeah, there was madness trying to get that show matched, and at the end of it, you sit back and you go, what was all the panic? But you know, we know we've got shows coming up in the next few weeks. It's the same again. It's an hard thing, but you know, it's got to be worth it, hasn't it? I mean, it was a good show on Saturday. I was quite pleased with it, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the top of the bill, because so often they don't always deliver, and Colin Day and Jordan Ellis delivered, didn't they?
Yeah, well, we knew that was going to be a good fight. Probably not as good as it was, to be honest with you. I mean, I watched the first few rounds, and it's very unusual. You can't split anybody, especially when there's so much action. But I was struggling to find a winner of the first 3 rounds, that's for sure. And I just thought that the last 2 Colin won clear, and that should have won in the fight. So I was a bit disappointed he was given a draw. But you know, there was a lot of close rounds, so you know, you can't complain. He's not lost. He's got a draw, and maybe we'll do that again down the line in the future.
Yeah, it was a treat for the fan, that man. I'm not going to go on. I've just got a list here. Brogan.
Yeah, disappointing for Steve that he was going to defend his area title fight, and only at the end we couldn't get anyone, and he had to do it against a 6-rounder against a tricky, durable opponent. So he wasn't ever going to look sensational against Liam Richards, but he got the win. Moves him forward, and you know, hopefully that Shaq Tally fight will get done in June, or something bigger might crop up for Steve and we can chuck him in.
Nathan Bennett with his second 6-rounder.
Yeah.
Against Lee Hallett.
Yeah, awkward opponent. Kid's got a poor record, but he's never been stopped, and you could see why. He's not just awkward, he's tough as well, and he does have a goal. So the benefit for Nathan on that one was he got 6 rounds on. He wasn't out of gas, and he looked okay during the 6. So that kind of gives us confidence pushing forward. Yeah. Pardon?
And never dropped for rounds.
No, box well.
Nice return to the ring for Mason Cartwright against the giant of the
Yeah, ended up a fantastic fight, and a good learning fight for Mason as well. You know, the kid was a bit bigger and obviously slower because of the size, and he gave Mason a chance to look like Sugar Ray, didn't it, with some of the moves he was doing, and
he even managed to put him over.
He caught him with a big left hook at the end of the 5th, but you know, fair play to the kid. He bounced up after 2 seconds after that one, didn't he? And I was glad that he's seen the 6th out as well. He had a bit of an onslaught, but ended up a good fight for Mason. That, you know, and Mason was one of the people who was really struggling to match with. You know, we had problems which I won't go into because we got over the line, and we delivered, and I think not a chance to speak to Mason yet, but I'm sure he'll be happy with what happened at the end.
The reason why it happened is because that opponent who he fought should have been fighting Cameron Halfpenny, who ended up fighting Chris Jenkinson.
Yeah.
So, and that was ended up a good fight because Cameron Halfpenny had not been in the ring for, I think it was close on 4 years.
Yes. Strange one, wasn't it, that they weighed in the day before, then they both turn up and they're not fighting each other, but needs must in this boxing game. It's crazy. One day I might like a book and everyone can laugh at all the things that happen behind the scenes, but no, you know, Cameron, professional, he's trained, he thought he was fighting then next he's not. Chris Jenkinson did me a favour, you know, he was at a do, and he broke off from that, come on, put him on early, and he went back to the do, so big ups to Chris Jenkinson,
another one that surprised me, Nathan Quarless against that Ken Krupanen.
Yeah, I think Nathan really controlled that fight, you know, with his jab.
I was talking Nathan Quarless against Ken Krupanen, a fight that I thought, well, does he need this one yet? But it was a good performance by him.
Yeah, listen, he's getting stronger and he's getting better, Nathan. He's only young, and we've got to be mindful of that when we're matching him, but I thought he put a very mature display in on Saturday night, controlled the fight behind his jab, hurt him a few times, and was never in any trouble himself, so it bonds well for the future, that, or bodes well for the future, should we say.
And then a kid making his debut, I like this lad, Shawn Hughes.
Yeah.
It was great. Do you know, really entertaining fight with Elvis Duke.
Yeah, he doesn't mess about, does he? I said that as soon as I seen him start his style from the start. I said to the person next to me, well, Christ, we're going to have some entertaining fights with this lad as we go along. I mean, I know Tony was screaming at him to keep his hands up all the time, but you know, he's got the confidence, and obviously he was not as heavy as the eldest two, right? So it'd be interesting to see if people could take his punches when he's not got the weight disadvantage, because he does load up a lot and tries to hurt him every single punch, you know. Could be some entertaining in fights, that's for sure, yeah.
And then it was the return of the animal for his second pro fight, Adam Farrell.
Yeah. Again, fought a very durable person in Daryl Sharp, and got the win, 40-36, and look, good doing it, you know. Was it 39-37? Sorry,
yeah.
Right.
Well, he started slow, didn't he? He started slow, but finished it well.
Yeah. Can't see him losing the round myself, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It was 39-37, but you know, I was impressed again with Adam, and he's come back into the sport after a long break off, and even though he wants to move really fast, I think we just have to be careful, make sure we get it right for him, yeah. But he'll be certainly fighting for titles within 12-18 months. Yeah,
and then a kid, not his first fight, but his first fight on the VIP, Brian Phillips. I was impressed with Brian because I've seen him numerous occasions sparring in the back there with Carl Frampton.
Yeah, he's one of those kids who loves the sport and really nice and polite, and puts a big effort in selling tickets and really wants to do it. So you know, I think with the right fights he might get a chance of doing something. So take our time with Brian Phillips and see where we get to on the road.
He's only young, I think he was 24.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, so keen though, so keen.
A good debutant as well in Lee Whelan.
Yeah, I was impressed with Lee. Again, another kid I've not seen. He's only 18, so you know we have to take our time with Lee. But I seen him go to the ring and I thought, oh, he's a bit nervous here. But you wouldn't have told that from the way he fought. I thought he fought really well and picked some great punches. Hurt the kid a few times to the body, and I'm sure we could do something with him. But it'll be a long road.
And then a tough night, but probably a great night for him in fact of learning. Matty Rennie against Ben Fields.
Yeah, and he took a big gamble stepping up in his second fight, but he wanted to fight with Ben Fields, and to be honest, the positives to take away from that one is that we all know he can box, because you don't do what he does in the amateurs if you can't box, but he actually stood and had a fight, which isn't the way he should have fought, and to win the fight wasn't the right tactic. But for me, eventually you're going to have a fight in this job, and he's shown to me on Saturday that if you've got to stand toe to toe and have it, he can do it, and he did it. So a little bit of game changing plan with him, and he'd have won that fight. I mean, Ben Fields just gone out there to rough him up, and maybe could have had a point took off him, which would have meant it was a win for Ben. But I mean, I think a draw's a fair result with that one, and as you say, hard fight for him early doors, fight that he's going to learn from, but it's shown us a lot of positives for when it does get tough down the line.
No, I'd say all in all a pretty good show. Considering we nearly didn't have one. So
that's right, 11 fights, no stoppages again, yeah. So all the lads are fighting and learning and moving on. 2 draws, no losses, so good news for VIP.
Well, that was